Across the United States, courtrooms have witnessed moments that irrevocably change the lives of young defendants. For these teenagers, some barely old enough to vote, the delivery of a life sentence transforms youthful mistakes into lifelong consequences. Their reactions, shock, sorrow, denial, and sometimes defiance, reveal the human side of tragic decisions and the gravity of choices made too early in life. Today we examine 5 cases where teenage defendants received devastating sentences and the powerful ways they confronted the reality of their actions. 1. Mackenzie Shirilla, murder behind the wheel. In Cleveland, 17-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla entered the courtroom facing accusations far more serious than a fatal car accident. Prosecutors described a turbulent and toxic relationship filled with threats, manipulation, and emotional explosions. According to investigators, Mackenzie didn't simply lose control of her vehicle, she made a calculated decision to end her boyfriend's life. Video from the crash showed her calmly guiding the car through a turn before fiercely accelerating to 100 miles per hour and smashing into a commercial building with deadly force. The courtroom watched in stunned silence as evidence revealed she had even driven the same route days earlier, allegedly planning the act in advance. Dominic Russo and his friend Davin Flanagan died on impact while Mackenzie survived. As the judge read the guilty verdict for 2 counts of murder, her face crumbled, tears falling as she apologized repeatedly. She claimed she never meant for this to happen, insisting she couldn't remember the events at all. But the judge rejected the idea of an accident. There was no medical emergency, no mechanical failure, only intent. Mackenzie was sentenced to 15 years to life for each count, to be served concurrently. The image of the young girl standing in cuffs, crying as her fate was sealed, became a haunting reminder of how one deliberate act erased 3 young lives. 2. Aiden Fuji, a brutal murder at just 14. In St. Johns County, Florida, the case of 14-year-old Aiden Fuji sent shockwaves through the community. Fuji was accused of committing one of the most violent crimes in the county's history, stabbing his 13-year-old classmate 114 times before leaving her body in the woods. The brutality of the attack stunned investigators, who later revealed that nearly half of the wounds were defensive, evidence of the girl's desperate attempt to survive. Even more disturbing was the behavior Fuji displayed after the crime. While being transported in the back of a police car, he recorded Snapchats, smirking and attempting to portray a casual attitude toward the horrific act he had just committed. Prosecutors played chilling surveillance footage showing the victim walking with Fuji shortly before her death, followed by footage of him sprinting away from the scene minutes after the attack. In court, the lengthy list of injuries was read out: 114 stab wounds, 49 defensive marks, dozens of strikes to the head, neck, and shoulders. When Fuji pled guilty to first-degree murder, the judge delivered a life sentence, though Florida law allows review after 25 years for juvenile offenders. Fuji showed little emotion as the reality of spending his life in prison settled upon him, a chilling contrast to the sheer savagery of his crime. 3. Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale. Killing their teacher over a grade in Iowa, the community of Fairfield was shaken to its core when 2 16-year-old boys, Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, were arrested for the brutal murder of their Spanish teacher, 66-year-old Noima Graber. According to prosecutors, the murder stemmed from something shockingly minor, a bad grade. But what followed was a level of planning and violence that seemed unimaginable for teenagers. Graber, known for her routine walks through Shadowwalka City Park, became the target of the boys' ambush. Evidence revealed the pair discussed the plan on social media, referencing killing her and hiding the body. On the day of the attack, they waited for Graber to arrive, striking her from behind with a baseball bat. When they realized she was still breathing, they hit her multiple times until she died, then dragged her into a wooded area and attempted to conceal her body under a tarp, wheelbarrow, and railroad ties. Goodale later pled guilty and testified against Miller, describing the attack in chilling detail. Each teen faced the court separately for sentencing. Goodale broke down, apologizing deeply for his actions, saying he wished he could return to the moment and stop himself. Miller, though remorseful, remained quieter, asking for a chance at rehabilitation. The judge sentenced Goodale to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years, while Miller received life with parole eligibility after 35 years. As both teens were led away in handcuffs, their families cried, unable to comprehend how a failing grade had led to a murder that changed so many lives. 4. Rachel Shaw and Sheila Eddy. killing their best friend. In West Virginia, the murder of 16-year-old Skylar Nye by her two best friends, Rachel Shaw and Sheila Eddy, became one of the most disturbing teen crime cases in the state's history. The three girls had once been inseparable, but tensions grew, and Rachel and Sheila began excluding Skylar. What started as petty teenage drama escalated into a cold, calculated plot to kill her. The two girls hid knives beneath their clothing and lured Skylar out of her home late at night under the pretense of hanging out. Once they reached a secluded spot, they attacked her without warning, stabbing her repeatedly as she begged them to stop. After the murder, both teens attempted to cover up their involvement, pretending to be devastated best friends, while Skylar's family searched desperately for answers. Eventually, Rachel broke under pressure and confessed, leading authorities to Skylar's remains. In court, Rachel's emotional apology echoed throughout the room as she expressed unbearable guilt and shame, saying there weren't words to describe her remorse. The judge sentenced her to 30 years with parole eligibility after 10. Sheila, who refused to cooperate and maintained a cold demeanor, received life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 15 years. Her lack of emotion throughout the trial shocked many. The case served as a tragic reminder of how teenage emotions, jealousy, resentment, and betrayal can escalate into unimaginable violence. These cases illuminate the profound outcomes of violent acts committed in youth. Courtrooms may deliver justice, but each verdict echoes a deeper tragedy. Lives ended, families shattered, and futures stolen by decisions made in moments of anger, jealousy, or obsession. The reactions of these teenage defendants show the human cost of crimes that forever define their existence.